In this video, we are building an end-to-end business intelligence platform that transforms raw operational data from a digital lending company into trusted insights for decision making. The solution will ingest transactional data, transform it into analytics-ready data warehouse, and provide interactive Power BI dashboard that will help the executive monitors the customer loans, repayment, defaults, collection, and revenue of that particular organization. So let's get started. So first of all, we'll have to understand the problem statement of this company. So we are building the lending platform for this company, and before that, we'll have to understand the problem statement. So the problem statement of this company is that first of all is this digital lending company that need better visibility into its lending operation to make informed business decision. While customer loan application, loans, repayment data are collected daily, the information is stored across multiple operational tables, making it difficult to monitor the portfolio performance. Repayment behavior, defaults, and revenue in a consistent and timely manner. The CEO primary concern is to understand the complete lending life cycle, where the money goes out as loans, money comes back through the repayments, and some never return due to defaults. To address this, company require a business intelligence solution that transforms raw operational data into reliable insights through standardized KPIs and interactive dashboards. The solution should answer key business questions around customer loans, repayments, and revenue, enabling the management to monitor the portfolio health, identify risk, customer collection, and measure profitability before building the data pipeline. These business questions must be clearly defined, mapped to the relevant data source table and supported by agreed upon the KPI definition to ensure consistent across the organization. So this is the problem statement that is the digital lending company is currently facing. So so in every project, you first of all need to understand this kind of problem, and then after that, now you start exploring the data source that will support in solving this particular problem. So this is the architecture of how our project will look like. So first of all, we'll have after we've understood the problem statement clearly and we know exactly what the kind of problem we're dealing with, we will then explore different sources of data of this particular organization. And then after exploring the sources, we will pull the data into a data warehouse. For our case, we shall going to use Databricks. So in Databricks, we shall going to pull the raw data into the Databricks. And in that Databricks, this raw data, we shall call this layer of raw data, or the place where we've stored the raw data, as bronze layer. After our data has landed into the, let's say, bronze layer, we shall now use this tool called DBT. It's kind of a new tool that is majorly used for transformation. So we shall going to use the DBT. So within the DBT, we shall going to create two layers. One of the layer we shall going to call it silver layer, and the other layer we shall going to call it gold layer. So within the silver layer, we shall going to do all the transformation of our data. We shall going to do things to do with the removing of duplicates, dealing with the null values, data types, all sort of data transformation that we know we shall going to do under this layer called silver. After our data is now clean, now we shall going to build what we call facts table and dimensional table. So this facts table and the dimensional table, we shall going to put them into this layer called gold layer. So now after we've built this gold layer and put the data into this layer, the data that is ready now for the data analytics, we shall now going to pull the data from this layer into Power BI and start building the visuals. So we shall going to build visuals, including the customer dashboard, loan dashboard, and all the relevant, let's say, dashboard that will help us solve our particular problem. So from this dashboard in Power BI, we shall going to generate insights and recommendation from this dashboard. So I hope that one is very clear. So let's now go to the next step, where the next step is now to explore the data sets and take our data set into Databricks. So let's set up the data warehouse. So for this case, we shall going to use Databricks, and then we shall going to pull our data into our data warehouse, that is the Databricks. So let's set up the Databricks account. So I'll just write Databricks. Yeah, I think just write Databricks Community Edition, and then just click on this. And then after that, you will simply enter your email here. So for my case, I'll enter my email, and then you'll click continue with email. And then after you've entered your email, a verification code will be sent into our email. So let me find mine. So my verification code is this one, the 5th 5TH BLN. So after that, you will, if it's your first time, you will create your account, and then you will log in. So if it's your first time, you'll create an account. So you'll basically create an account here. Here you will put your username, and then here you'll put your country name, and then you'll click on continue. It will take you to this page. So this is the outlook of the Databricks. So since we want to import our data from whichever source into Databricks, so first of all, we'll come and create a database. So in Databricks, we normally use this one here. So you'll come to catalog. So let's create a catalog. So catalog in this case is kind of same as database. So let's create catalog. So for catalog, you'll click on catalog, and then you'll come to this, add data, and then create catalog. And then so for this catalog, this one we can call it Fintech. Let's just call it catalog. Fintech catalog. And then after that, you'll click on create. And then go to configure. For this, you will simply come to this next, and then you will click on save. Yeah, so we are so our catalog will be somewhere here. So let's just refresh this. Yes, so our catalog is here. So within this catalog, we need to create a schema. So Just click on the catalog and then come to create schema. So this schema, let's just call it Fintech schema. Fintech, and then you call it schema. And then create. So let's also refresh this so that we also get to see the schema. Yes, so here we have our schema, and within this schema we don't have any data. So within the schema is where we shall going to create our table. We shall going to create our table. So let's create our, so within this schema is where we shall going to enter our tables. So just click on the schema and then come to create and then table. So after clicking that, you will now, our table is now in CSV file. So our table, these are some of our table that we want to take them from the CSV file into the Databricks. So just click on browse here. So let's start with this one, repayment, and then we click on open. Yes, so this table name, so we can see the table is going to catalog the Fintech catalog, the schema, the Fintech schema, and then so we can decide to call this table as repayments. And then so we have our table here. So after that, just click on create table. Yeah, so we have our table in our schema here, repayment. And then we want also to import these other tables. So you'll just simply going to repeat the same procedure where you just click on the schema and then you'll come to create and then table and then browse. And then now let's take this loan and then yes, so we have our table here, loan. After that, click on create table. Yeah, so we have our table loan here. Let's also create another table, create. And then here table, and then browse. So let's go with the loan application. Open. Let's edit this. Let's just call it loan application. And then we create table. So we have our loan application table. So let's also create the other table. Create table, browse, and then you have now customer. So these are my 4 tables that I want to take them from the CSV to Databricks. Yeah, so after that, create table. Yeah, so yeah, so we have our tables here: customer, loan application, loans, and repayment. So we have successfully loaded our table from the CSV to the Databricks. So the next step now is to do the data transformation. So for this case, we shall going to use DBT to do all the data transformation, and then after we've cleaned our data, we shall now going to take the data into our Power BI and draw the visuals. So this is it's called this is what we call the ETL, where here we have the source. So our source was CSV. So our source here, and we've taken our data to data warehouse. Data warehouse. For our case, this is Databricks. Our data warehouse is Databricks. So here we have extracted our data from this CSV, and then we have loaded our data into our data warehouse, that is Databricks. So within this Databricks is where we're going to do all the transformation. So we shall going to do the transformation within this Databricks, and this transformation we shall going to use DBT. So this whole process is what we call the ELT. The ELT, where we're extracting the data from the data source, and then we are loading directly into the Databricks, and then within the Databricks or the data warehouse is where we do the transformation. So for this case, we shall going to connect this Databricks with a DBT, and then all the transformation, they will be done in DBT. So we shall going to do the transformation in DBT, and then later on we shall going to connect this data warehouse with a BI tool. So we can maybe use Power BI or Tableau. So first of all, let's install the DBT, because our data is already loaded into the Databricks. So let's install the DBT. Yes, so for us to install this DBT, first of all, we need to install some tools that will kind of work together with the DBT. For this DBT to work, we must first of all install some tools. So let's DBT installation. So we'll first of all going to install Python. Python is also useful in working with the DBT, and also we shall going to install the VS Code, and then we shall also going to install Git, and then we shall going to install UV. So these are the tools that will be required in making making the running of DBT very easy. So let's jump straight into installing the Python. So for Python, simply go to the browser, search just Python, download, then download. So for Python, make sure you install a very specific Python package that is 3.2. We don't just install any Python. We must install a Python that will be compatible with the DBT. So here we will have to. So the Python, it's very, we need to be very specific. The Python should be 3.12. So let's search for the 3.12 Python. Yeah, because as you can see here, we have a Python, but this one is 3.146. So 3.146, though it is the latest one, but this one is not really compatible with the DBT, let's say, functions. So we need to come to this, just scroll, and then you'll meet all these versions. So search for 3.1 to 3. So for me, I will recommend you click on 3.129, because this is the kind of Python that I personally used, or I downloaded and installed, and it works super perfect. So after that, you will choose your Windows. You will choose your type of the operating system. If it's Windows, you'll come to Windows. And if it's macros and so you'll just scroll here, and then you'll find this one, the Windows installer, 64-bit. So you will simply click here, and then it will be downloaded. So since I already downloaded this one, I don't have to repeat downloading. So for your case, you'll just have to download it, and then you install this Python. So after you've installed, now you will the installation is very straightforward. You just click on it, you open on it, and then you will just follow the procedure of installing it. After that, you will come to the command prompt, command prompt, and then here you will simply type Python. So we want to confirm the version of Python that we've installed. So after you've installed, you will come to Python and try to confirm the version of Python that you've installed. So for my case, I installed 3.12. So that means we have our Python successfully installed. So we can tick. We can go to this one here and say we have installed Python successfully. The next step is to install. Let's install this VS Code. So let's install VS Code. So for this, just VS Code install, and then you'll come to download this one here. So for this one, I think this one is very straightforward. This one is very straightforward. So you will simply click on this one. After clicking on that one, it will start downloading, as you can see. After it ended downloading, you will double click on it, you open it, and then you will install it. So this one also is very straightforward. You just install it by following the right procedure. So since I already installed this one, I don't have to repeat installing the same. So we have our VS Code installed. Now we can go to so we have our VS Code. This one also is installed. Now let's go to Git. So click here, come to command, write git download. So after that, just click on the first one, and this one is very straightforward. You'll just have to choose your operating system for this one. For mine is Windows, so just click on Windows and then choose one of this. So for your case, I will recommend this one, and it will start downloading. After it finishes downloading, you will open it, you will click on the procedure, and then you will install it. Yes, so after that, also this one also you'll come to the command. You'll come to the command prompt. I mean command prompt. You will also try to see the kind of version you downloaded and installed of this Git. So for that, just type Git and then version, and then click on enter. So for my case, you can see this is the version of Git that I downloaded and installed in my computer. So let's tick on that also. So we downloaded this. So also let's put tick on this. And then we have this UV. For this one, you can just come to command prompt. This one, we don't have to go to the browser and install it. From the browser, you just come to command prompt and then you'll click on open, and then let's just install this using the command prompt. So you'll just click on pip install UV, and then you click enter. Yes, so let's allow it to install our UV. Yeah, so you can see, so requirement already satisfied and so on. So we can also, so we have the UV in our machine. We have the Python, so we've also installed UV. It's very straightforward. So now we've installed all the relevant tools needed to do the DBT installation, where we've installed the Python, the VS Code, the Git, and the UV. So now we're going to use a combination of these tools so that we can install and set up our DBT. So we're going to use, we'll first of all going to open the VS Code. So let's open the VS Code. So let's just type VS Code. VS Code. Yes, so this is the outlook of the VS Code. This is the outlook of the VS Code. So, but before we start using the VS Code, we need first of all to create a folder on our computer. So just come to your File Explorer and then just create a folder. So create this. So with this folder, we can call it maybe dbt VS Code. Let's just call it project. dbt VS Code project, and then you can click enter. So after you've created that folder, so this folder is more of like it will contain all the resources of this particular project. So after you've created a folder, come to this, now the interface of the VS Visual Code, and then come to file, come to open folder, and then come to now select the folder that you've created. So for my case, I've created this dbt VS Code project. So just click on select. Here, so here we have our folder uploaded into the VS Code. So we have the folder uploaded into the VS Code. Now the next step now is to activate the Python extension, because this VS Code is more of like our workspace where we shall going to run all the activities of this project, from running the SQL queries, from executing the Python scripts, from building the dbt models, doing all the transformation, using the SQL within the dbt, creating the silver model, gold model, and so forth. So all those activity will conduct them within this VS Code. So it's like VS Code is like a workspace for our project. So for this workspace to run properly, we need Python extension, because there's some Python related work that will perform well when we have Python extension within our VS Code. So for that, we will come to here, Python extension, and then extension, just click here, extension, and then type Python, just Python. Python, and then you will choose this one, Python language support with extension, this one here. So click on that, and then after clicking on that, if you've not yet installed the Python extension, you will see install in this area. But for my case, I've already installed the Python extension. So that means it's already installed in the Visual Studio Code. So you'll click on that, install, and then this Python extension will automatically be installed within the, let's say, the VS Code. So after you've installed, you'll just click on here, and then you'll come back to the Explorer. So we have successfully installed our Python extension. So we have the VS Code, we have this. So we have the VS Code, we have the Python extension. So now, So here we have the VS Code, and it has it's more of like assistant of VS Code, that is the Python extension. So VS Code, this one is the one that will help us. This is more of like a workspace. So this one will help us to carry all the activities related to this project within this VS Code, and we shall going to use the Python with the help of Python extension. So Python extension is more of like this is more of like assistant of the VS Code. VS Code. So here now is this workspace, it needs resources, or it needs packages for this project to be executed. It needs packages. For example, this project is related to DBT. That means we will need DBT packages. If it's related to Databricks, we will need kind of Databricks packages. SQL, so we will have a kind of let's say packages here, packages of the packages of these projects can include maybe SQL kind of packages. For this also maybe DBT packages. Maybe Databricks. So all the packages needed for this project to run. So let's assume these are the packages. So these packages we need to store, we need to create a place or a room where we can store all our packages related to this project. So this one here, this one. So we need to store, we need to store these packages into a single place. So let's call it maybe let's call it store. So we need a store for these packages. The project packages. The project packages. So this store is what we call the virtual environment. So that means we need to create the virtual environment and activate it. So here we're going to, so this store is what we call the virtual environment. This store is what we call virtual environment. Virtual environment. Where, since this is where we do our task, where when VS Code wants relevant packages to run the task here, this VS Code can easily find a specific, can easily find that that packages to run that specific task from this specific place. So it's more of like we don't want our resources, our project resources to be scattered all over the places. We want it to be in a specific place. So therefore we shall going to create this virtual environment. this virtual environment specifically for this project. So in case, for example, if you want to run SQL query, the VC with the help of this Python extension can just come to this environment and pick all the relevant resources or the SQL resources to execute that particular query. So let's create the virtual environment. So let's go back to this VS. So come to here. So let's create the virtual environment. Come to here, and then come to terminal, new terminal, and then yeah. So here we're going to write UV. So we shall going to use UV to create this virtual environment. We shall going to use UV, this one here, to create this virtual environment. So UV in it, and then click on enter. Yeah, so we have initialized the project. So now let's continue creating this environment. So write UV S and C. So we have created the virtual environment. So it's more of like now we have created the virtual environment. It's more of like we have created the virtual environment, but it's not active. It's not active. Not active. So currently it's not active, so we need to activate this virtual environment. We've just created it, but currently it's not active, so we need to activate it. So we can activate this by running, let's say, activation script. So we will have to run activation script for us to activate this virtual environment. But before that, we need first of all to configure our Windows operating system. Currently, if we just write the activation script here, our computer will not, will give us some problem in terms, it will bring some error because because my window configuration system is not allowing us to run the activation script. So we need kind of like asking permission to the window operating system, the security operating system, to run the activation script. So let's remove the block of the activation script. So for that, we're just going to write set exemption, set execution policy, set execution policy, and then scope, and then current user, and then remote signed. Yeah. So before we execute the or before we run the activation script, first of all, we need to write this this line, the set execution policy, scope, current user, and then remote signed. So this one is more of like we're asking permission to the window security operation or operating system not to block our activation, not to block our, the execution of our activation script. Set execution policy. Yeah, so let's just click on enter. So now it's more of like we can now run the execution script. So this is our environment that we've created. So now let's activate it. So to activate, just click on dot, and then we dot and then stroke, and then we enter this one here. You enter this one depending on the environment that you've been provided. Just write dot stroke and then you enter your environment, the virtual environment. So for my case is this one here. So dot then v and then the scripts, and then we activate, and then you write just PS1. Yeah, so vent scripts activate PS1, and then you click on enter. So after that, now we have the environment, our environment activated. You will see this one here. Our environment, the VS Code project environment has been activated. So now we can pump the relevant DBT resources into our activated environment. We have now active environment. This one now is active. So this one now is active. Now we can bring the packages into this active virtual environment. So we can bring the DBT, we can bring the Databricks, maybe SQL, all the relevant packages that we want to be put into this virtual environment. So this one is now active. So let's bring the DBT. So for the DBT, you'll simply going to write DBT for the DBT, now you're going to use the UV add DBT core, add DBT core, and then you click on enter. So let's allow the resources of DBT to be entered into our system. Yeah, so we have, so all our packages related to the DBT is now here. We have all so these are just resources of the DBT required for this project. And then also we need a package. So we have bring the DBT packages into our virtual environment. Now let's bring the Databricks resources. So Databricks resources, so just write UV add dbt data bricks, dbt data bricks, then click enter. So let's allow the dbt databricks resources also to be added into our virtual environment. So also our databricks related resources, they've been also added into our virtual environment. So you can just click here and you can see all our resources, they've been added into the our project here. So we have all the relevant resources, and then also we can add another kind of like a document where it will have kind of like all the, it's more of like a document for, let's say, that contain all the relevant resources. It's like a written document that contain all the relevant resources of this project. So let's also bring that. Just click on here, UV, pip, and then freeze, and then so let's call it requirements dot, since it's just a document, so we can call it in format of text, requirements dot text, and then you click on enter. So you will find it's populated here. So after this, now we can, let's try to confirm the version of dbt we have, let's say, installed in this. So let's just type dbt and then we run it. We just try to confirm the version of dbt. We're just trying to verify if we've really installed the dbt. Yeah, so you can see all the resources, they are here. So you can see it will give us the, is an ETL for managing SQL, meaning that we have successfully installed the dbt. So I think this one is very, so we are done with installing the dbt. Now we can also install the git, or we can bring also, so we have already installed the Python, the VS Code, and we have also installed the UV. Now let's bring this into the VS Code, git into the VS Code. So for that, let's just initiate the git. So git branch, so git branch, just write main, and then click on that, and then after that git, we also add all the resources of git. After that, now go to git commit, and then initial commit. We can just write something like that. Initial commit, and then you click on enter. So it's more of like we're also taking the git into the VS Code. Yeah. So this we are done with the git part. So now we are done with the dbt installation. We have installed all these. We have installed all these together with the dbt in our dbt. So we have the dbt in our system now. So so now let's now initiate the git. Since we have the relevant resources, so let's now try to initiate the dbt. We have the dbt in the room, so now let's try to kind of like use the dbt. So let's write dbt initiate, yes. So execute this, and then this one will ask the dbt. So here is like we have installed the dbt, but remember our data is stored in in Databricks. Our data is stored in Databricks. So that means we'll have to build connection between the Databricks and the dbt. So we have our dbt ready. Now we need to build the connection with the dbt. After we have the dbt, we need to connect the dbt. We need to connect the dbt with Databricks. Yeah. So this is now the initial step of us connecting the dbt. So you just write dbt, you initiate the dbt, and then you enter a name for your project. So the project of this one is this one. The name of the project is this one here. The name of project is this one here. So dbt VS Code. dbt VS Code project. So dbt VS Code project. dbt VS Code project. So we have entered the name of our project here. So the name of the project, basically you just use the same project name, or just the same as the one for of this folder, the folder that we've created initially, this one, this one here. So you can just use this one as the name of the project. So after that, it will ask you the database. So here you can see which database would you like to use. So currently we are using Databricks. So Databricks is in number 1. So you're just going to type 1 here. And then it will ask you the host. So this host, you'll going to this Databrick and get the host. So host, just come to compute, and then come to the SQL warehouse, and then come to this serverless data warehouse, and then here come to the connection details, and then you'll have your host here. So just copy that one and then go to the VS Code, paste there, and then after that it will ask you the path, the HTTP path. Also just go back to the Databricks and then copy this HTTP path, and then go to the VS Code, type that one, and then it will ask you the desired token option. It will ask you the desired token option. So for this one, for this one, use just type 1, and then now we will now going back to the Databricks and generate a token. So for that, just go to Databricks, here, come to this area, come to setting. Coming to setting, come to developer, and then access token. I think where is it? Access token, it's here. Click on manage, and then you will click on this one, generate new token. So just click on it, and then you just provide the name of the token. So let's just call this one, let's just call it DBT token. And then after this, BI tools for SQL, I just maybe select Databricks Connect, and maybe Postgres, just those one, and then you come to, so you'll have this as your token. So you'll just copy this, and then you'll come to the VS Code, and then you paste. So once you paste, you'll see like it will not be typed for the security purposes, but you just come and paste on this area. So it will not be displayed just like this other. So after that, just click enter, and then they will ask you the desired unit catalog. So here you'll just type 1, and then catalog the name of the catalog, the name of the catalog. So this one, I think this one is done. So done. Then come to Databricks again, so that you can get the name of the catalog. So our catalog name, this was the name of catalog. So we can just copy this. Let's just copy this. Yeah, it's just Fintech catalog. That's the name of the catalog. I mean the catalog that contains our data. So this is the catalog that contains our data. So we have the Fintech catalog. So here you will enter your catalog name, that is Fintech. Is it something like this? Yeah, Fintech catalog. So underscore catalog, and then you click. And then for schema, I think within the catalog we have schema. So this is what we're going to see when we. So these catalogs, these are more of like a database for those who are conversant with the SQL. And then within the database, so catalog is more of like our database, and then within the database there's something called schema. Schema is where now when you expand the schema, you're going to get all the tables. So for this project, the schema is called Fintech schema. Fintech schema. Fintech schema. Yeah, and then this one you're just going to type 1, and then you proceed. So now we have successfully connected the DBT with the Databricks. So we have successfully connected the Databricks and the DBT and the Databricks. So this one we have done the connection. So now let's enter into the project. This one here. So we've created this project as we were doing the connection between the Databricks. Yeah, this one here. So let's now enter into our project and start now building start now using the DBT and the Databricks. So let's just enter into it. So CD. So the project name was this one here. It was, where is it? Yeah, this one here. It was DBT first code project. So basically it's this one here. So let's just type it. DBT VS Code project, and then we click on it, and then after that we can run the DBT debug. debug. Yeah, so now so that means we have the connection is built super well. As you can see, you will see all the let's say the relevant resources related to this connection between the DBT and the data bricks. So you can see all checks passed and so on. So the Databricks and the DBT connection is now okay. So here we'll bring a new, extension that will help the DBT work with the VS Code much faster and more efficient. So for that case, just come to the extension and then do write power user for DBT, and then you'll click on install. For your case, for my case, I've already installed the power user for DBT. So for your case, you'll just come to install, and then you'll click on that, and then you will automatically install the power user for DBT in a VS Code. After that, just click here, and then and then can just go back to the Explorer, and then after that you will see a DBT core here. So just click on it and then search maybe setup. So we kind of set up the setup extension. Or just come to troubleshooting the extension. Yeah, and then you will come to you will come to the validate this one, and then you will click on this. You will come to validate the setup, and then you will simply do the validate. Yeah, so let's allow it to validate as we allow the as we allow the DBT VS Code validate setup to complete. Yes, so you'll see the project setup completed successfully. So we have successfully set up the DBT power user. After this now, there's a table. There's a file in your local disk. In your local disk where it's stored in, where is as we have done all these activities, there's a file that is generated and stored in your computer local disk. So just come to the computer local disk here, and then come to users. So for mine, I named it my name, Eric, and then dbt, and then you'll find this file called profiles. So right click on it and then copy, and then go back to the VS Code, and then go to this file, this file here, and then you paste it within that file. So you will find it here, the profile YAML. So within this file, our project is only this one here, is only this one. So let's just remove all these other things. These are not related to this project. Yeah. So basically, you will find that you'll find that your project is this one here, the file that we've copied from the local disk. This one, it needs to be this. It needs to be this format where we have the project name, this one, and then we have the output, dev, and all those kind of things. The things that I've removed, those are really not related to this dbt. Is, there's I've already run some dbt, let's say, project. So once you run another dbt project, it will be populated in the same dbt profile, the same dbt file. So that means it's upon you now to remove all the unnecessary dbt profile let's say files. So you only remain with the relevant file. So make sure it has the dbt VS Code project, like this one here. Make sure it is the same, and then also make sure this name also is also matching with this one here, is also matching with the one in this one here, and also it matches with this. So make sure it matches with this one, it matches with these two, and also it matches with this one, dbt VS Code project. And then you come to this one, you'll see the dbt VS project, and also you see dbt VS Code project. So after that, I think you are now ready to build the model. So you can cancel this. So cancel this one, cancel this one. Okay, save. Cancel this one. So we are now ready to start building the models. Since the connection between the dbt and the Databricks is okay, now let's build the 3 layers of our models. So the first layer will be called bronze, the second layer will be called silver, and the third layer will be called gold. So the first layer will contain the raw data. So it's more of like we are bringing the data into the dbt. So once it lands into the dbt, we are identifying it using the first layer, which we're going to call it bronze. Bronze will be the layer containing the raw data, and silver will be the layer where we're going to do all the transformation, and then gold is the layer that we're going to use in Power BI. So we're going to pull the gold, let's say gold data. We shall going to pull the data in gold layer, and then we take it to the Power BI and do the data visualizations. So let's build the 3 layers. So the 3 layers, we're going to build them under this, let me call the file models. So if you click at if you expand it, you find currently this file doesn't have any data. And in case it has anything within the file, just you'll just need to delete, and then you will going to manually going to build the 3 layers. So, but before that, first of all, we need to create something called source. Source is more of like it tells the DBT where the current data is stored. So currently our data is in DBT, as you can see here in the Fintech catalog and the schema, the Fintech, and then these are the tables. So our data is in Databricks. So we need to take this data. We need to tell the DBT where the original data is currently located. So in that connection, we need to create something called source. So just come to, and then come to model, and then create here, and then create source. Source, and then you click, and then within the source, you will add a file, sources dot YAML, and then you'll click on sources YAML. So once you click on that, you will come to, there's something called DBT source. There's let's find the structure of what we need to put in this. So DBT source, source in DBT, and then come to here. So here, so this is the template. So we're going to use this template to substitute with the right, let's say the right information. So come to that, bring it here, just copy paste, remove this one, just remove this, and then, so this source, then the name of the source will call, let's just call it let's just call it source in this small. And then the database, now the database is in Databricks. It's more of like we are directing the DBT to where our data is stored. So our database is our Fintech, the catalog, the catalog that we've created. So for our case is Fintech catalog. So just write Fintech catalog, and then schema, just go, it's Fintech schema, Fintech schema. Yeah, let's confirm. Yeah, Fintech schema and Fintech catalog. So catalog is more of like the database, and then we have the Fintech schema, and then the tables. The table is just under the schema. The schema, yeah. For this is Fintech schema. So we have customer, loan application, and so we shall going to substitute them. This, so for example, here we have customers, and then we have another one, loan applications. So make sure you write them the way they are on the Databricks. Loan Is it loan? No. Loan applications. And then loan applications, and then we have loans underscore one. So just copy this, copy, and then you take it to here, paste it, and then here we say loans. It was loans underscore one, and then we copy this, and then the final one is, I think, yeah, repayments. So let's confirm the repayments. Yeah, repayments, loans underscore one, loan application, customers. Yeah, repayments, loans underscore one, loan application, customer. So this is our source file. So after you've populated with the right, let's say information, now you will click on Control S so that you can save this information. So click on Control S. Yeah, so after that, now let's start creating the models. I mean the 3 layers within the models. So just click on model, come to this. So our first layer will be bronze. Yeah, and then you click, and then click also model, and then silver, and then our third layer will be click model, and then gold. Yeah, so we have our 3 layers here, the bronze, gold, and silver. So now we can now pull the data from the Databricks into the DBT. So since bronze is the one that contains the raw data, we will have to pull the data into this bronze layer. So just click on the bronze, come to this, and then so our first table we want to take, let's say, customers. So let's just call it just a short form of bronze, and then customers. Customers, and then .sql, and then you click on just enter, and then it will take you to this area where you're going to write your code. Select star from source. Remember, we created a source so that it helped the DBT know where the original data is located. So just write source, and the name of the source we call it source. From this, the name of the source, we call it source. So after that, here we're going to call the table name. So for our case is customer. So let's just write customer. Customers, I think it's the same. Yeah, customers. Yeah. After that, you'll have to come to this area here before we execute this. You need to come to this area. You will see this project, your project YAML. Your project YAML, it's just found above the profile YAML. So come to project YAML, and then in this area here, make sure you have this. You replace this area with all these the materialize and schema. So you'll start with the bronze and then plus materialize dot schema, and then so this one will help us to create. Once we execute this query, once we execute this bronze, for example, bronze query here, once we execute this at dbt, in dbt there'll be it will create another schema for bronze. It will be something like Fintech schema and then bronze. So for you to create this another schema, you need to replace this area now. So this area is where now it will determine how this layer will be how the schema will be created in this Databricks. So for that, so make sure you replace this area just after the model. You'll name your project. For my case, it was dbt VS Code project, and then you will replace all the 3 layers of our model, of these models here. So that is bronze, silver, and gold. And then after that, just click Ctrl S so that you can save. So after clicking Ctrl S, now let's execute this, our first table. So let's also after writing this, click on, now let's execute it. So we have a first table, and then you'll come to also the bronze, and then click on here, and then now we want to take another table. So for this case, let's take loan applications, dot SQL, loan application.sql. So we want to then write select star from our source. So our source, the source here is source, and then table name is loan applications. Loan applications, so let's confirm it. Loan applications here, and then so let's execute this one. So let's execute this. Now let's also do another table. So come to bronze, and then let's write bronze, maybe loans .sql. So right select star from source. So source name is source, and the table name for loans is loans underscore one from the Databricks loans underscore one. So execute this one. Yes, so we have our loan table. Now come to bronze and then click on the final table, which is repayments. Bronze repayments. Bronze repayment dot SQL. Also right select star from source, and then table name is the table name is repayments. Table name is repayments, and then so I hope repayments is okay. So let's confirm it. Repayments. And then click on this. Yes, so we have repayment tables. So click on Control S. So we have all the table. So let's click on Control S for application. This one also click on Control S so that we save this. Click on Control S for loans, and then also click on Control S for the customers. Control S basically mean we are just saving these files, these tables. So after that, now we have our all our bronze tables, all the raw tables, all the raw table from the Databricks. They've been pumped into the bronze layer. So we can come to terminal, and then we write. Now we want to run the DBT so that all these table in bronze layer can appear in our DBT. So let's run the DBT so that we can have our table in this. So let's run DBT run. So the DBT is successfully run our bronze layer. So let's go to the Databricks, refresh here. So here there's a new schema. It's called Fintech schema bronze. So this schema will contain all the tables that we've created in the DBT. So we have the so here we have the table that we've populated in the bronze layer. So let's now proceed with the silver layer. So in silver layer, you'll just come to, you click on silver and then come to here, and then so let's start populating the data in this silver layer. So in silver layer, basically we shall going to do data transformation. So that means we shall going to write an SQL query and do all the transformation. So let's start with our first table. So let's do data transformation for the table loan. So let's call it loan dot SQL loan dot, let's call it loans.sql, and then we click enter. So after that we're going to write select, and then we shall going to clean all the relevant tables, or I mean all the columns in this particular. So let's first of all run the table run here so that you can see from this. Let's run the table loan. So this is the table loan. So we want to transform this and populate that data into the silver layer. So let's go to the silver layer. So let's start with the first column, that is loan ID. So loan ID, I think we don't have to, I think this one is okay. So let's just write loan ID, and then the second one, application ID. This one also is okay. Application ID, and then we have here customer ID, this one. So this one is also okay. Customer ID, and then we have loan products, loan products, loan product, and then so for the disbursement date, this one will have to cast it so that we make sure if it's really a date column. So this one we're going to cast so is disbursement date, and then we are changing it into data type, and then we can just call it disbursement date, and then put a comma, and then we have another this one maybe we can put it into decimal data type. So let's also cast we are casting it this disbursement amount, disbursed amount disburse amount. So this one we can change it to decimal instead of the numeric. We can change it to decimal. So we can allow up to 15 figures and 2 decimal places. So this basically means we can have, for example, we can have up to 15 figures, but we can only have 2 decimal. And then so this one we can call it as dispersed. Yeah, can just call it by its name. And then comma, and then the next, this one is interest annual. So this one we can also cast into a small decimal, maybe into specific number of decimal place. So cast interest rate annual. So we can cast it as decimal. Yeah, decimal into, so decimal into maybe six figure and 4 decimal places. Here we are supposed to write cast this as decimal. Yeah, decimal. Yeah, so let's proceed here, and then we call this one as, so this is basically this 6 figure and 4 decimal. So that means we can allow up to 6 figure, but we, in terms of decimal, we only allow 4. So that one you can call it interest annual. And then the fourth, and then we have these term months. This is a integer, so I think this one is not really a must, so let's just call it term month. So we don't have to transform this. And then we have monthly installment. This one sometimes can be in decimal, so we need to specify this one we can make it in decimal. So cast monthly installment case as decimal. And then so we can allow up to maybe 15 figures, but decimal places 2, and we can call it, we can alias use that just the same name that is labeled here. And then after this, the second, this one is date. This one we also need to make it in data type, so cast, convert it into data type, cast maturity date, maturity date, maturity date, and then we call it as date, and then we call it, and then we just call it maturity. Maturity date. And then after this we put a comma, and then after this the next this one is maybe we can just say maybe the first letter should be in capital letter and the rest in small letter. So for that we can just put int in it loan status, loan status, and then so this is basically as, let's just call it loan status. So this basically we are telling we are just making sure that this column loan status, each and every value start with a capital letter, but the rest of the value will be in small letter, just the same one as the word closed. You can see the word closed, it starts with capital C and the rest are small letter. So that's the work of init cap. Sorry, it was init cap, initial cap. Init cap, and then from this we have here from this let's just leave this one alone. Collateral, type, and then after that we shall going to add another column where we shall going to calculate the monthly installment with the term months, so that we can get the expected total repayment. This is the installment, this is the term month. So for example, the first customer, this is the monthly installment and is expected to pay it within 6 months. So we can use these two columns to get the total expected repayment amount. So for that, just calculate monthly installment times the term month. Mhm. So this one we can, let's put it into brackets. So this one we can call it as, let's say, repayment. Yes, but this one will we will have to round off. So for that we're going to add round off in case it has more decimal, in case it has a lot of number of decimal. So let's round it off, round and then we are rounding it off into 2 decimal places, 2, and then and then we can use we can use this repayment. We subtract it with disbursement amount. So this one, repayment, let's just copy it. You can subtract it with the disbursement amount so that we can get the interest, the total interest rate. So round months, and then we subtract it with this disbursed amount, and then we can round it off into 2. Yeah. And we can call this one as interest total interest. Yes. Let's just round it off into 2, and then we put this into and then after this, now we shall going to write from, so we are referencing it from this table loans. So for that we're going to reference, we are referencing it from table the bronze price loans. Yeah, so let's just leave this one alone. Loan status, I think loan status is just okay. We don't have to do the transformation, let's just leave it alone. So after that, so we have done the transformation. So we have loan ID, we have application. So I think we have all the transformation. So we can click on execute. Yeah, so we have our well transformed loan table populated into the silver layer. So let's do for customers, no, let's do for repayment. So just click on silver, click on this, and then let's call it STG repayments dot SQL. Repayments.sql. Yes, so for this, let's just so for this you'll just also going to repeat the same kind of transformation. So you can see we have simply done the transformation in each and every column here. For the date, we have converted into the date. The column amount, we have converted into the decimal principal, and then we have also done the coalesce here. And so generally we've just we have tried to come up with the transformation of this particular table, and then we have referenced it from these repayments, the bronze repayment table. So if we execute this, so we have successfully loaded our repayment, transformed, and loaded our repayment table into the silver. Now let's do customers. So let's transform customer and load it into the silver layer. So click on that, and then just write STG customers .sql customer.sql STG customers. Yeah, so let's just customer. So this is the query for carrying out the transformation of the customer. Yes, so let's execute it. So we have a well transformed data for customers, and then so the next one is loan applications. So come to silver, and then let's call it STG loan applications dot SQL. Yeah, so we can transform the loan applications. Yes, so let's use this. So here we have So this is the loan application query. So here is how we have transformed the data by casting the putting the data into the right data type, using the in cap for the column values to start with a capital letter, and then here I've calculated the difference, and so I've basically tried to do the data transformation of all the column in my loan application table. So after that, I'll click on execute. So we have our loan application table also has been transformed and executed and put it into the silver layer. So we have all the tables well transformed into the silver layer. Now we want this table into our data bricks. We want this table into our data bricks. So for that, just come to this terminal and then write dbt run, and then you click enter. So now our tables have been taken to Databricks. So let's refresh the Databricks. So we expect something like schema, fintech, fintech silver. Yeah, it's here. Fintech silver, where is it? And this is fintech schemas bronze. It's here. So we have fintech schema silver. So we have STG customer, STG loan application, STG repayments. So now that since our data is now in Databricks, now we can now start building the layer, the gold layer. So let's just go back, gold. So in gold, click on this, and then so let's start with loan. Let's start with loan. So this one. So for gold, we shall going to identify and label this table based on facts table and dimensional table. So facts table, these are the table that contain the transaction, while dimensional table, these are table that they provide context about the, let's say, the business entity. So let's start with loans. Loans is a facts table because it contains the transaction of all the loans. So for that, let's just call it facts loans dot SQL, and then so for this let's just execute this loan table here. So here you can see the loans, our loan table in the silver layer. I think it has almost everything. We don't have to add anything that will help us in building our metrics. We already have the repayment amount, we have already have the total interest amount, and so on. So these columns can help us come up with our let's say key metrics. So we don't have any other column that we think we can do the we can add so that we can get more insights. So for this one, we will just simply going to use the same table that is in layer, the silver layer. So let's select star from this silver. So we're going to have to reference this one with the table, the STG, the STG, the STG loans, the STG loans in silver layer. So after that, just execute. Yes, so we have our facts loans. It has been created. So make sure after executing, make sure you click on Control S so that you can save this. So click on Control S, and then let's proceed. Also click on gold, and then come to this, and then so let's go with the repayments. So repayments also, it contains the transactions of repayments. So that one is a facts table. So fact repayment. Fact repayment, and then SQL. So let's run the repayment here in silver so that we can see if is there anything we can add. Yeah, so for this one, this one also, I don't think if there's any column interest, principal. I think most of the column we've already calculated them. Interest, yeah, this one also, let's just pick the same table into the gold. So right, select star from, so we'll have to reference this, we'll have to reference it with these repayments, the STG repayments, STG repay repayments, STG repayments. I think this one is correct. Yeah, and then let's execute it. Yes, so we have our table repayments here. So after that, just click on Control S to save it. So we have our repayment table here. Now let's go to the next table, which is, let's do the application. So just click on gold, and then so applications, this one is a facts table dealing with all the loan applications. So fact loan application .sql. So let's run the loan application and see if there's any. Yeah, so let's application ID request loan. So this is the allow. Let's see if we can add any calculation column here. Loan rejected. Rejected. Yes, so this one we will only going to filter only the non-duplicates. So that means we shall going to filter where is duplicates is equal to false. So let's come to the loan application. So we don't have any other column we can add, so let's just use let's just filter the duplicates. So right select, since we are taking all the columns, select star from so we are referencing it with referencing it with now STG loan application, applications, loan applications, yeah, and then we are filtering where the only the unique, we don't want to carry the duplicates, so only where is duplicates is false. So right where is duplicates equals to false, and then we run this. Yeah, so we have our fact loan application. So make sure you save by clicking on Control S, and then now we can go to the next table, which is customers. So click on gold, and then so customer now is a dimensional table because it doesn't deal with the transactional data. It's just a table, provide more information about the customer details. So for that, let's just call it time customers, and then we SQL. Yes, so for this, let's run the customer here and see if we have something. So execute. Yeah, so here we have customer ID, name, we have Yeah, birth, first name, last name, date of birth. uh, yeah, so here we shall going to first of all calculate the number of age. Since we have a birth here, we can calculate the age of each customer. Yes, so for this one I already had the query, so we shall going to directly execute the query. So here's the query where we can see customer ID, and then you have first name and last name, first name and last name, and then so I did a concatenate where it's more of like I combined the first name and last name to become a full name, and then the date of birth, and I have gender, I have county, I have employment status, employment status, and I have the monthly income. And then the monthly income, I categorize this monthly income based on the low income, middle income, and high income using the case statement. And then I also categorize the credit score based on using the case to categorize based on the excellent, good, and fair. And then after this, so let's execute this query here. And also I referenced it with the STG customers. So let's run this query pop. So my dime customer query is here, where I have I added the column for the credit band. The credit band, where is it? Where you can see there's poor. If there's the credit score is I think poor if the credit score excellent if the credit score is greater than 750, for example this one. And if the credit score is between 750 and 700, that one would be good. And if the credit score is between 650 to 700, that one would be fair. And when the credit score is below 650, that one would be poor. And then monthly income, I also categorize them where we have high income, middle income, and the low income. So these are basically the columns that I added so that I can use them when I'm trying to analyze their data. So we have all our relevant table in the gold layer. So this table in this gold layer is what we're going to use to build to do the data analysis, maybe in Power BI or Tableau. So let's click Control S so that we can save this, and also click Control S also to save this, and also click Control S to save this, and also click Control S to save this. And then after that, just come to terminal. Now we want this data now to reflect in dbt, like just the same as this other one. So where we had the bronze layer, and here we had the silver layer. Now we want the gold layer in dbt, so that we shall going to, in Databricks, so that we shall going to now connect the Databricks database with the Power BI, and then we pull the data into the Power BI. So let's bring the gold layer data into the Databricks. So just come to here. After you've clicked and saved all this, now come to dbt, then run, and then just write dbt run, and then click on enter. So the dbt has run successfully. Now let's refresh our Databricks so that we can see the schema gold layer in Databricks. Schema, so we have the gold now here. So in gold, you can see there's only there's time, customer, fax loan application, fax loan, and fax repayment. So this is how you connect the Databricks and the dbt, and then you do all transformation in dbt, and then all this transformation you can kind of like pump back to Databricks. Now that we have this gold layer, so this is the layer that we will going to take it to Power BI. So we shall going to connect our Databricks with our Databricks catalog or database with the Power BI, and then we pull this data in this gold schema. We pull them into the Power BI and start doing the data analysis. Now that our data is in the gold schema or the gold layer in Databricks, now we shall going to pull this data into Power BI and start building the data visualization. So let's jump straight to the Power BI. So in Power BI, for us to pull the data from Databricks to Power BI, we'll click on Get Data, and then we click on More. After that, we type here Databricks, and then you'll choose this one, and then you'll click on Connect. Once you click on this, it will ask you the server hostname and the HTTP path. So for that, you'll just come to your Databricks, and then you'll come to Compute, and then you'll click on this serverless, and then you'll come to Connection Details, and then you'll have your server name here and your path. So copy this, go to Power BI, and then you paste it here, and then now HTTP path, you'll also come to here, copy, and then you come to the HTTP path, and then you click on okay. So it will take you to this area. So here you will choose on personal access token, and then this one you will get it in Databricks. So come to this one, come to settings, and then come to developer, come to access token, and then come to generate new token. So let's call it Power BI, Power BI token, and then let's say BI tool, and then we generated this one. Click on generate, and then you'll copy this one, and then you'll come to here, and then you paste it, and then you click on connect. So our data is within the Fintech catalog, so you'll simply expand and the Fintech Gold, the schema Gold, so expand it, and then you tick all the table within this schema Gold, because these are the tables that they are ready for the data analysis. So click on them and then click on load. So our data has landed into the Power BI. Now let's go to Power Query and do transform it. So click on transform. Yeah, so let's start with our first table, which is customer, date of birth, registration date. So this one, I think this one is okay. I think this one is okay in terms of the gender. Loan applications, loan application date, registration reason, and then so we can decide to, no, let's just leave it the way. So we can decide to replace the null value with maybe no reason. No reason. So let's come to transform, and then format. Now let's just right click on this, then replace values. So the value is null, and then we replace maybe with no reason. No reason, and then you click on let's just click on OK. Yeah, so we've replaced all the null value with the no reason. Yeah, so I think this one is okay. Also loan ID, loan table, this one, I think this one is okay. Repayments, this one is okay. This one is okay. Yeah, so from the loan applications, let's extract day, use this day, this date for application date. Let's use the application date to extract year, month, and month number. So let's use it. Let's go to add column. So now here we want year, so you'll just highlight it and then you'll come to, so let's highlight year. Let's extract year, sorry. Yeah, so we have years here extracted successfully. And then after this, let's also go to this, and then let's extract month. Let's start with month number. Yeah, so let's call it month number. And then application date, month. Let's also get the month name. Yes, so we have month name here, and then also let's get maybe day name. Maybe let's extract day name of day. Yeah, so let's do that. Yeah. Yes, so after this, I don't think if there's any issue to do with this. Most of the transformation we did them during the DBT, so let's just come to home, close and apply. After that, after transforming our data, come to the data model and start building the relationship among these tables. Yes, so here we will have the facts table. We'll connect with the dimensional tables. So these are my tables. These are my tables. So if you look at these tables, I think BI has already. So let's start with the dimensional table. The primary key in dimensional table is customer ID. So you will just drag and drop to the customer ID. Now it's this customer ID. We are connecting it with the customer ID, and then we cancel. So after here, we have facts table here, so we can drag the customer ID to its fellow customer ID in facts table. So we have customer ID connected with customer ID, and then we have and then we have also here we had customer ID connected with customer ID. So simply drag to the customer ID. customer ID, drag it to its fellow customer ID. Yeah, so we have the connection already connected. So this other one, we can decide to delete the relationship. Just delete them. Also this one, just delete them. Yeah, so we have built our data model here. So after this, we shall going to take this data to now start building the measures and the key metrics. So that means we shall going to build measures. So let's just right click any of the table, and then for us to build the measure, just click on right click in any of the table, and then you click on new measure. So here we are starting counting the number of customers. So let's call it total customers. This one equals to distinct count. So we are counting the customer ID. So customer ID here, this one, and then you close the brackets and then you click enter. Here, so we have a total, where is it? So we have total customers here, and then also right click on the same, right click, new measure. And then the next measure we shall going to calculate total loans, which this one is let's call it total loan disbursed. Equals to the sum so we are summing up the disbursed column in the table of loans, that is fax loan, and then we are using this disbursement amount, and then we close the bracket and then we click on enter. Here, so we have the total loans disbursed. After that, also right click, come to new measure, right click, new measure, and then default rate percentage equals to so we are calculating the default rate percentage. So this one we shall going to divide the number of loans defaulted against the total loans the company has. So for this one, just divide, and then we are calculating the divide calculate. So we are counting the number of rows, count rows of fax loans and then fax loans Loan status, where's the loan status? Loan status, where equals to defaulted, defaulted, and then we divide this one with the count number of rows in this loan count rows, fact loans times 100. Yeah, then you click on enter. So let's confirm if we really have the defaulted status. Where is the status? Here, defaulted status, yeah. And then after this, let's also calculate the collection percentage. So right click, come to new measure, so let's call it collection percentage equals to collection rate equals to, so we divide sum fact repayment or repayment amount, where is repayment paid, repayment amount paid, so we are dividing this with the sum of repayment due. So just write sum repayments due, where is it, amount due, and then we 0 times 100, and then we and since it's percentage, we can click here so that we can convert it into percentage, and also the default rate. So let's use this one, card, to confirm the collection rate. No. Where is the collection rate? So for this, let's remove this 1000 here, and so let's now highlight it. Yeah, so we have 98 collection rate. For the default rate, let's, where is it, default rate? So remove this default rate. So currently it's this one, so let's remove the percentage, and then let's remove the 100, and then we activate percentage. Yeah, so we have 11.8 11.95%. Okay, so let's remove this. After that, let's go to interest rate earned. So where is the repayment? So interest rate and measure, and then we say total interest and equals to total interest. And so this one will just sum up the interest column. Sum of fixed repayment interest rate. Where's the interest rate? Interest paid, yeah. Then you close the bracket and then you click on enter. So now let's start building the dashboard. So let's start with the title. For title, you'll just come to text box. We can expand to 28, and then we start typing maybe fintech loan performance dashboard. Fintech loan performance dashboard, and then let's stretch it. And then let's make it at the center, and then let's make it bold, and then the color, make it blue. And then after this, let's go to effects. Let's activate the shadow, and so let's make this color. So we have our title, and then the next step is to now doing the KPIs. So let's click on this card, and then so the first KPI will be total customer. The total customer, so scroll it, total customer is here. So let's adjust it to total customer. So let's come to format, call out value. So we want to format this value, so make it bold, increase the size, change it to the Sage UI, make the color, maybe make this one. Yeah, so I think that one is okay. Come to now do format this, the category label. So the category label, this is the category label. So make it bold, change this color to dark brown, yeah. And then after that, come to general, we put a shadow, effects, and then click on shadow, change the color of shadow to resemble this. So click on that, and then after that, just click copy and paste, and then drag, and then we bring another KPI. So the other KPI, we shall going to highlight the total loan disbursed. So this is the total loan disbursed, and then copy and paste, and then we have another KPI. So another KPI will be collection rate. So click on collection rate. So go to percentage. Yeah, so we have a collection rate here. And then let's adjust it. Yeah, and then another KPI, copy and paste, and then default rate. So default rate. Yeah, so we have default rate, copy and paste. Another KPI will be interest rate. So click on this, and then also we want to highlight the total interest earned. So we can simply adjust this. Boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah. Yeah, and then let's bring this one here, and let's take this one here, and then adjust this one too. Yeah, so we have our KPI, and then we shall going to build the filters. So let's build the filters here. So the filters, we shall going to use month. Also shall going to use customer, county, and gender. So go to slicer. Let's start with customer name. The full name, come to format, slicer setting, use drop down instead of this. Yes, so we have the customer. Now let's use let's use another item here. Let's use county. Your county. Yeah, so we have counties here. So the background of this, I want to make the background of this maybe blue. The background of this, maybe I can put it effects, background blue, poop. Yeah, so let's just make it blue. Yeah, and then copy, paste. Another filter here, we can use maybe gender. So remove this, credit band. Yeah, Let's use gender. Yeah, let's use gender. Gender. Yeah, and then first, and then the final one, let's use month. Let's use month. So here we have month. Now the final one, let's use month. Yeah, let's use day or month. Let's use just day name. Day name here. So we have month, Friday up to Saturday. So we have our title, gender, and the KPIs. Let's say repayment performance. So that one shall going to use the stack bar chart, stack bar chart. Yeah, this one. Where we shall going to use an axis. We shall going to use loan products. Where's the loan products? Loan products. And then we shall going to use collection rate with respect to what is this, collection rate, default rate, yeah. So this is our first chart. So the title, we can call it maybe call it repayment performance. And then we can put it at the center, and we can call it, make it bold. Yeah, and then axis, this one we can just simply remove them. Axis, let's just remove the title here. Let's just remove the values also, and we can have this one, and then come to general effects, and let's have shadow. Let's have shadow here. So shadow, we can also make the same as the one in also we can remove the y-axis title, come to y-axis and then remove the title here. Yeah, and then we have this one. So this is our first chart, and then after that let's go to loan distribution status. Loan distribution status, so this one will be loan distribution status. Okay, so let's use pie chart and then loan status. So let's go to loan status, and then total loans disbursed. Yeah, so let's just copy this here, copy, paste, and then bring and then let's remove this, all of this. Loan status, loan status, and then total loan disbursed, and we are using pie chart. Yeah, so this is the total loan disbursed in each and every status. Yeah, so let's use risk performance customer. So copy, paste, so this one we should going to use table, and then the column is customer name, so where is customer full name? Yeah, here, and then loan products, and then day dues, days due, and then loan status, loan status, so is it loan status? Yes, so we have, this is our table, simply adjust. Adjust it. Yeah, and then yeah, so this is a high level dashboard where the management can use to make some quick insights about the company.